Well, let's talk to former BBC royal correspondent, in fact, my favourite royal correspondent, Michael Cole. Good evening, Michael.
Good evening, Kevin. It's a pleasure, a treat, an honour to be with you in your new home. Now, they say that no one ever leaves the battlefield unscarred. And Prince Harry recognised that after 2 tours of duty, commendable tours of duty in Afghanistan. And he set up the Invictus, meaning unconquered games. That was 2014. And now 22 nations send their wounded, scarred, traumatized service people to take part. And it's a brilliant, brilliant thing that he did. But it's quite interesting, Kevin. I looked at the Buckingham Palace website about Invictus, and it says that Prince Harry directed the charity, but it says the Royal Foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, who are now, of course, the Prince and Princess of Wales, delivered the games in partnership with the Ministry of Defence. So that means that William and Kate were instrumental in helping Prince Harry get this off the ground. That's worth saying because, of course, he's not on speaking terms with the brother with whom he was so close, and Kate, and he didn't go out of his way to wish her well, even when personally well, when she delivered the news and did it extremely well and in a most dignified way that she had cancer. So that's the bit of history of it. Prince Harry is coming back. He deserves all the plaudits in the world.
Agreed.
For Invictus. And also, Kevin, you must remember that everything he's done was all pre-Meghan, serving this country, setting up the Centabile charity, doing all the good things he did in this country were all pre-Meghan. And I don't think that will be lost on people. No. The king, of course, is his younger son.
Michael, will the king see Harry? Will he fit him in? I think the indications are that he'll find a few minutes for him.
I know that you're not a profligate man and you don't bet, but it's worth a fiver down at the wedding shop to say that the king will see him.
Yeah.
Because he's made it clear that his door is always open to what he calls my darling boy. And of course, he saw him when last Prince Harry made this 11-hour overnight flight when after the king had announced or had it announced that he had cancer, to see him, and he saw him for 35 minutes. Now, you know, the prodigal is always welcome, but the prodigal in the Bible, the prodigal son, the profligate, the wastrel son, has to be penitent, and he has to say sorry, and he has to regret what happened. And then in the Bible it says his father fell upon his neck, which means he embraced him. Well, I'm quite sure the king, who we see there in the most moving scenes when he went to visit the cancer care centre, would love to fall upon his neck, would love to embrace him. But, you know, to make
goes like this, Michael, sorry to interrupt, it goes like this. In 2014, when Harry launched his excellent Invictus Games, the royals at the launch ceremony came out in force. Prince Charles, as he was then, was there. Camilla was there. William was there. I think even Kate might have turned up. This time, no one is going to this Thanksgiving service. And maybe a few of the minors. I don't know about Eugenie, that kind of person. But none of the senior royals are going. So that's an indication of how far he's fallen in terms of the rest of the royal family, who frankly cannot stand the sight of him anymore. Can I just quickly ask you, because we've got too much time, what do you make of this weird pretend royal tour of Nigeria? So after the Thanksgiving service, he's jetting straight to Nigeria to meet Meghan, who, surprise, surprise, is avoiding coming back to Britain, whereupon they will embark on what many people see as a pretend royal tour of that African country. Weird.
Yeah, well, as you say, she's Miss Britain. A distinguished royal correspondent who's not me said that that's because she feared that she was going to be booed when she got here. And I must say, I rather concur with that. What happened was, and it's a bit weird, they met the Minister of Defence of Nigeria. Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa. And he apparently invited them to come to his country. Now, Meghan claims a percentage of Nigerian blood heritage ethnicity. And so they're going there. So it's like an unofficial royal official tour of Nigeria. I imagine that they will see really what the country is like. I would imagine that they'll all say those 220 girls who were abducted so appallingly by Boko Haram, whatever they were called, they'll see them. And I'm sure they'll do some good. But you know what I feel, Kevin? I really do feel this. Last week we had Sophie, Duchess of Essex, going to Ukraine. She did a great job. But that's exactly the sort of job that, were he a member of the royal family, Prince Harry was uniquely qualified to do, to go to a war zone, to go to a country at war, to give them comfort and to give them experience. What we've lost, but also what he's lost, because he no longer can come very confidently to the country he says he loves and that it is his home. And I hope he feels and thinks upon the words of his late mother, because she always wanted them, those two brothers, to be there for each other and support each other.
Yeah, that's the tragedy, Michael. I'm going to have to cut us short now. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. You well know